In this fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the chaos of our own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. We live in constant motion, always doing, always responding, always trying to control the narrative. But there is a sacred stillness waiting beneath the surface, a deeper awareness that doesn't try to change anything. It simply watches. It observes. This is the part of you that doesn't get overwhelmed by fear or distracted by success. It's not reactive. It's still, centered, and deeply wise. In this journey, we will explore how to return to that place, to become the observer of your own life, to shift from identification to liberation. Because when you observe, you understand. And when you understand, you awaken. There is a profound shift that happens when you stop identifying with your experiences and begin observing them. Instead of saying, "I am angry," you say, "I notice that anger is arising." This subtle difference holds enormous spiritual power. Observing breaks the attachment to the emotion and gives you space to breathe. It reminds you that you are not your thoughts, not your fears, not your story. You are the awareness behind them. When you become the witness, you stop being consumed by what is happening. You become free to see clearly, to act wisely, and to choose peace over chaos. The witness consciousness is the doorway to deep transformation. It's not passive detachment, it's presence without judgment. Most people believe everything their mind tells them, but the truth is, thoughts are just movements in consciousness. They come and go like waves on the surface of the ocean. You are not the waves. You are the ocean. Learning to observe your thoughts without reacting to them is a skill that can change your life. It allows you to pause before responding, to question the stories your mind is creating, and to choose a different path. The observer doesn't suppress the mind, it simply stops being fooled by it. Once you stop believing every thought, you begin to see how much peace is possible. You don't need to control your thoughts. You just need to stop dancing with them. Detachment is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you no longer allow emotions to control you. When you observe rather than absorb, you remain grounded in your inner truth. Emotional storms may swirl around you, but your roots are deep. You can respond from clarity instead of reacting from chaos. Detachment gives you the power to feel fully without drowning. It creates space to honor your emotions, learn from them, and release them without becoming them. This is the beginning of wisdom, seeing things clearly, without personal distortion. When you are no longer entangled in everything, you begin to live with lightness and compassion. Once, a young monk went to his master, frustrated and overwhelmed. "I try to meditate," he said, "but thoughts keep distracting me. I feel like I'm failing." The master gently led him to a still lake. "Look into the water," he said. The monk gazed down and saw his own reflection, blurry from ripples. The master dropped a pebble into the lake and said, "This is your mind right now. No matter how hard you try, you can't see clearly when it's disturbed." Then they waited. After a while, the ripples faded, and the water stilled. "Now look," said the master. The reflection was crystal clear. "Clarity doesn't come from force," he continued. "It comes from stillness. And stillness comes when you stop trying and just observe." The ego thrives on identity, on being someone, doing something, being seen. But the observer has no such need. When you observe the ego without judgment, it loses its grip. You begin to see the roles you've been playing and realize none of them define you. You watch yourself seek approval, defend your opinions, chase success, and you smile gently. Not because it's bad, but because it's no longer who you are. You are the quiet awareness underneath all masks. Observing the ego doesn't destroy it, it softens it. It allows you to act from love instead of fear. You are not the performer on the stage. You are the one watching from the quiet seats. When life becomes overwhelming, the breath is your bridge back to the observer. It's always there, calm, steady, present. Simply returning your attention to your breath brings you into awareness. You begin to notice, here I am, breathing, watching, alive. Inhale and observe. Exhale and release. The breath becomes a sacred pause, a reminder that you are not the chaos around you. You are the stillness within. Observing your breath trains the mind to rest. It dissolves the noise and leads you home to the now. When you feel lost, don't chase answers. Just return to the rhythm of your breath. It knows the way. There is nothing more powerful than full presence. When you become the observer, you are no longer split between past regrets and future worries. You exist entirely here, now. This moment becomes sacred, not because of what's happening, but because of your awareness of it. Presence heals. It slows time. It deepens connection with yourself, with others, with life itself. In presence, you listen without needing to fix, you watch without needing to control, and you experience without needing to judge. It's not about escaping life, but embracing it fully from a place of peace. When you are truly present, the ordinary becomes miraculous. A woman sat on a train, staring out the window. The landscape passed trees, houses, hills, but she barely noticed. Her mind was busy with memories, regrets, and plans. Across from her sat a quiet old man. After a while, he spoke. "Beautiful, isn't it?" She blinked and looked out. "What is?" she asked. "The sky, the trees, the light." She looked again and suddenly saw it all. The colors, the shapes, the life. She smiled. For the rest of the journey, she simply watched. She didn't change the scenery. She changed her presence. And in that presence, everything became beautiful again. When you stop trying to hold on so tightly, life begins to flow again. You realize you don't need to control everything, you just need to be aware. The observer doesn't resist change, it watches with curiosity. It allows experiences to rise and fall like waves. In this surrender, life becomes effortless. You no longer push the river, you flow with it. When you stop clinging, what's meant for you finds its way. What isn't fades away naturally. Being the observer teaches you trust. You don't need to chase healing or happiness, they emerge in the space of presence. Observation is the key to awakening. It brings light to the unconscious and dissolves illusion. When you watch your mind, your habits, your patterns, without judgment, you reclaim your power. You step out of autopilot. You begin to choose with awareness. That is freedom, not the absence of problems, but the presence of clarity. You realize that your true nature is not limited by time, thoughts, or form. It is eternal awareness, pure consciousness. You don't have to become anything. You only need to remember who you already are, the quiet witness watching it all.